everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my most favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. We're going to be looking at Daredevil 160 and 161 from 1979. This is drawn by Frank Miller. I have already covered the previous Frank Miller Daredevil issues, so you can search on my videos. Just do a search for Daredevil. By this time, I may have already a playlist, but if I don't have a playlist, just search Daredevil on my channel and you will see the other videos that I have already done. I'm planning on covering the entire Frank Miller Daredevil run, so hopefully you enjoy these. Um, on the description below, I have links to my social media. I just post my art. That's it. No opinions, no nothing. Just my drawings. Um, and also, I have a link to the Marvel fan site and the Daredevil issues where you can just kind of take a look and see they do synopsis of the issues, sort of what's going on. So give that a look. So right here we get a cover with Bullseye, and if you remember, Bullseye was the hidden villain on our previous issue, and here you see him with the Black Widow. She's sort of he sort of seems to have a drop on her, and if you take a look here, you won't see this anymore, but he's hanging her with the blow dryer. So stuff that you could do back then that you probably can't do now. So here we go. So we start with an epilogue instead of a prologue. So I think this means that we're starting in the end. So first of all, we're going to look at this vertical panel here. Frank Miller's really good at these vertical panels. We have the Black Widow going into her home and then getting ready for the night. And you can see here that Bullseye is here, and you can see him love the inking of Klaus Janson. I don't know whether this is a picture of some kind and they just blew it up and made it messy, but and so he goes and attacks the Black Widow. Of course, the Black Widow is seems to be outmatched here. She kind of runs and then gets like leaps back, but he seems to be able to he throws the vase. You can see him holding it in his hand and then throws it at her. So he seems to be able to sort of beat her. I mean, she's not putting up much of a fight, and of course he wraps that cord on her and tries to strangle her, but she gets loose. Again, some more vertical panels that Miller's very good at. And there's a little statue of Daredevil, and she ends up hitting it. Now you can see him, he's getting something out of his glove, throws it at him or at her, and hits the chandelier, and you can see it here falling on her. And then he grabs a knife, but it's not for her. It's for it's a note for Daredevil, and he throws it at the wall, and she's gonna be a bait for him, and will be springing the trap. So, and so we start here with a funeral, and Matt Murdock is here, and we have our credits. So it's not a funeral. That's my bad. It's she's just visiting her her father, and This is Heather Glenn, who is Matt's love interest, and she's here talking to him. She knows that Matt is Daredevil, and she says that when her father needed him, he was always too busy playing Daredevil to help him. And she says, Matt, promise me you won't let that happen again. And of course, he won't answer her. Now, another thing that's really cool here, if you take a look here, they're actually whispering. So they're not really talking, but this is how they would show whispers. But because of the rain, you can't really kind of tell on the panels. But this is how they would show that someone is whispering by having the panels or the little thing kind of cutting. So I love all the zipatone that Klaus Janson uses here. So Matt, and this is kind of hard. 'Cause, Frank Miller does a lot of vertical panels, so we don't see the entire thing the way that. So I do apologize for that. Just he does so many vertical panels. But the zipatone by Klaus Janson is very cool. Anyway, he says he has certain responsibilities. Basically, he can't stop being Daredevil, and you can see there that she's giving him the cold shoulder. This is the way that they would let you know that the person is speaking with a bit of a I don't know, attitude, you could say. And here she's smacking him because she doesn't like the answer. So anyway, these are Daredevil's allies or Matt's allies. This is Foggy Nelson, and then in the wheelchair is Becky Blake, and I think this is Deborah Harris is her name. So Becky wants to go help him, but um, you know, uh, Foggy tells him that he probably rather be alone. And then now we can see that Tom's time has passed. I love the shadow here of Daredevil, so we can see that this is Matt. He's also holding the cane here. He's saying, "I hate being alone." So he very cool here, very good. I mean, this is early in Frank Miller's run, and this dude was going to definitely be a superstar. So again, another vertical panel over here. We're just gonna take a look here, and he's like, I wish I love this part. I wish Heather and I could have made or could have been more like that couple. They don't seem to have a care in the world. And of course that's Peter Parker and Mary Jane, or at least that's who they're supposed to be. So and then Matt's just thinking about, the promise he made his dad, and being successful as both Daredevil and Matt Murdock, and he wishes he had someone to talk to. And then he thinks of the Black Widow, Natasha. He says, I haven't seen her for several days, and breaks apart his cane to form the Billy Clubs, puts on his costume. Um, is gonna go see her. So he has a skylight here that he uses, and there's some dialogue, but it's all right. It's so writers could make themselves feel worth, because you could have just done this part silently because you didn't need descriptions. But Daredevil, again, some more vertical panels that Frank Miller just does better than anyone else. Todd McFarlane does them good. So um, Matt calls out for the Black Widow, says the window was open, and then uses his radar sense and sees that the place is in a disarray. So Daredevil, with his senses, he's got that little radar sense, and he feels the little newspaper clip that he left or whatever. He picks it up, and he is able to determine what it is just by using his fingers, because he's so sensitive he can see the image through the ink. I know, it's comic books though. We don't overthink things, and Daredevil knows something happened to the Black Widow. Great panel. Um, Frank Miller, good. He's so good. So, all right. So he's at the Daily Bugle talking to Ben Urich, and um, he asks if there's anything about Bullseye, And Ben at this time does not know that Daredevil is Matt Murdock, but he is suspicious. But he's suspicious, but like I said, does not know at this time. So he says, um, he was arraigned for 6 counts of murders, taken to a psychiatric, and where he was a model prisoner. But 4 days ago, he was talking to one of the psychiatrists then about his father, and they said that his father beat him till he was 14. The doctor asked what happened to him, and then he goes, "I killed him," and he grabs him from behind. I think he's using the microphone to that they would record the sessions, and escapes, grabs a nurse hostage, and gets out. And Daredevil pulls the Batman and escapes. And he puts in another file where he has it here. So you got this part, under M for Murdock. So he is suspicious, like I said, that he is Daredevil. So he's gonna do some undercover work and go to this Josie's Grill, this bar that's kind of seedy. Wants to know about Bullseye and offers this guy money. Wants to know why the Eric Slaughter, who was the guy, he from the previous issue, um, and the guy's like, hushing him, "Don't be so loud." This is Turk, who is quite the he is a backup character throughout all of Frank Miller's run, and so these people all say, what do you want with know about Mr. Slaughter and all that stuff. So um, Daredevil uses the distraction of the lady here with the gun to kind of fight them all. Love the choreography that Miller uses. And I love the part where the TV, there's like a wrestling match, so it's narrating the fight in a sense. And even here, people just kind of turned on each other. Typical kind of bar fight where people just start fighting. Daredevil uses his billy clubs there. Frank Miller already, he's still relatively new and is able to create quite the scenery here. Another vertical panel. He says he knows there's a contract out for him, which he doesn't like. Asks how much Bullseye's paying for his, and the guy's like, "More than your life is worth." And so they grab him in, but Daredevil fights out of it. And then he wants Turk to know that when he finds Bullseye, to tell him that Daredevil is coming. So that ends this issue. So now we're going to go to 161, another great cover by Frank Miller. And there, of course, is the Black Widow as the helpless damsel. So this is a roller coaster that's coming to go run her over, apparently. Very, if you remember from older cartoons, how they would put the damsel in the middle of the railroad track, and then the hero had to save her before the train came. So it's kind of a play on that. So more Zipatones by Klaus Janson here. So we start out in Coney Island in Brooklyn. And again with the vertical panels. So Turk is basically running to go tell the Slaughter that Daredevil is after them. And there's a Mr. Slaughter here. Of course, Daredevil followed Turk. And Daredevil asks him, what's up and why does why are they trying to kill him? And he says, "My business is murder." So um, Daredevil's trying to find Bullseye, so he deals with Slaughter's henchmen. Love this from Miller, just kind of a flow of the action. Again, just how he choreographs the action. Um, he is so good. So he can sense Bullseye is somewhere um, in that tower. So he's climbing up. Again, I'm just kind of just showing this panel here. Look at this. Man, Frank Miller. I know that we're used to seeing him in Sin City doing all the blacks, but man, this dude can draw. Um, and so here's some of Slaughter's men. Um, he's using his radar sense here. Again, look at the leap, and Miller's just showing you all in that one panel, and just incredible, incredible stuff. So, and of course, through the speaker is Bullseye, um, and of course, there's the Black Widow. What a great composition! Look at all these vertical panels, just wow. So Daredevil's making his way to the Black Widow, and they're shooting, 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 and then here comes, hear the clack, 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 clack of the roller coaster, and he lets her, and there she goes, falling to her death. Boom. Only it was a dummy. And Bullseye says somehow he knew, but it doesn't change anything. And here's the real Black Widow as she stole the bait. So I just, I understand, but when you see kind of what the Black Widow is now, or how she's shown, seeing her here kind of as the weak damsel in distress, um, it just doesn't, because she's supposed to be this top level assassin, but here she is, just can't take on a bunch of goons. So we get a brief interlude here, and this man here's nicknamed KO, and he's works at this gym, boxing gym, and he's basically asking about Matt Murdock's dad, and asking about Matt Murdock when he was young, and then of course the nickname that he had as a kid, where the kids called him Daredevil. So um, Ben is beginning to have his suspicious raised even more. So a couple more vertical panels here. So Daredevil's chasing Turk, wants to know where Bullseye is. Turk tells him in the arcade. So we got this guy that throws knives, and Bullseye says, "Don't play games. Get it over with. I want her dead before Daredevil gets here." And this is more the Black Widow that we know of, saying, they think I'm helpless, but I'm the Black Widow. And Bullseye says, knows what she's trying to do. Of course, he's making her aim to the rope, so she frees herself and fights and disposes of one of the guy. Now Bullseye comes, but here comes Daredevil. So, who grabs him, and off they go. Daredevil kicks him and punches him. Great, showing him hit. Very cool. And so the Black Widow thinks about how she's never seen Matt so ruthless and angry. Daredevil throws the ball, hits him, but Daredevil recovers, throws the billy club. He tells him, "I've beaten you before." He catches the billy club and says, "That's exactly why you're going to die." He feels disrespected, and he hasn't forgotten about that, and throws the billy club back at him, and hits him again. And Daredevil punches back, and then grabs him, and then hits him again. And Bullseye's just impressed that Daredevil just doesn't give up. So Bullseye, of course, grabs that gun, and he aims it at him, But um, Bullseye is almost scared of Daredevil, so um, asks him if he's gonna shoot him. Come on, if you think you can stop me, etc. And he's just shaking in fear, and tells Slaughter that he'll double the contract if they kill him. Um, Everybody aims, but he says no. Daredevil's earned my respect, and he doesn't trust him to pay up anyway. And he gets angry and all that, but then he's like, "Oh, Daredevil, don't hurt me." So he's sort of weakened and gives up, and he's having a mental breakdown essentially. And then before Daredevil leaves, Slaughter tells him next time it'll be different, and Daredevil says, "Count on it." And then we end the issue here. So in the next time, Daredevil goes against the Hulk. So, and of course, we'll get to see Frank Miller draw the Hulk. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe.